of color critique, critical race theory, performance studies, media studies, and trans studies to investigate forms of self-representation and communal political mobilization by Black LGBT persons in the urban context. They earned their PhD from the Department of American Studies. And let's see, I lost
Getting a
my
preview
place.
of Marshall's slides. There we go. Great.
Okay, yeah, got the slides up. So they earned their PhD from the Department of American Studies in ethnicity with specializations in gender studies and visual anthropology at the University of Southern California. They combine scholarship, art, and activism in their research on race, gender, and sexuality in Black LGBT communities and cultural production. Dr. Green has been published in numerous scholarly journals, including GLQ, South Atlantic Quarterly, Black Camera, and TSQ Transgender Studies Quarterly. So while we're, oh, looks like Marshall, you're here. We're so glad. So welcome. So glad to have you. It was just a joy to be on the trans non-binary panel with you, and super excited to delve into radical self-love. So without further ado, everyone, I'll pass it over to Dr. Green.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to get right into it. Who do you love? How do you love? How do you love yourself? The Bible says, and sometimes I do heed the Bible, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But what if you aren't loving yourself right, loving yourself whole? Is that why your love hurts others? Because you haven't worked it out in and on yourself? If you don't know how to love yourself, then don't love me like you love you. Love me better, but love you better first. In this workshop, we will talk about and practice practical ways we can all begin to love ourselves better and think about why this work is essential to creating a new and better world. There comes a time when we scholars, organizers, writers, artists, students, doers, and beers must challenge the logic of speed up, constant productive impulses, or rather the coercive nature of capitalism that seeks our labor without consideration of our love, what we want, what we need, what we desire. The goal is always to move and or to be moved. Another way of putting this is to say the Black feminist future that I have been made privy to is one that has yet to be fully written and or realized. It is yet to come, but I have full faith in its ability to be made manifest. We, like Black feminists before us, are waiting, but we do not wait naively. We create in the waiting. I turn to my Black feminist ancestors, scholar, writer, and so much more, June Jordan, who stated at the 1978 National Black Writers Conference at Howard University, if I am a Black feminist serious in the undertaking of self-love, then it seems to me that the legitimate, the morally defensible character of that self-love should be that I gain and gain and gain in the socio-psychic strength needed so that I may, without fear, be able and willing to love and respect women, for example, who are not like me, women who are not feminist, women who are not professionals, women who are not as old or as young as I am, women who have neither job nor income, women who are not Black. Radical self-love opens you up to radically loving the world. My name is Marshall Green. I'm so honored to share this space with you all today as we examine our relationship to loving ourselves better. I am a shape-shifting Black queer feminist nerd, an Afrofuture freedom dreaming, rhyme slinging dragon slayer in search of a new world, a scholar, poet, facilitator, filmmaker, and an assistant professor of Africana Studies at the University of Delaware. In my academic work, I explore questions of Black sexual and gender agency, health, creativity, and resilience in the context of state and social violence. I am an interdisciplinary scholar who employs Black feminist theory, performance studies, and trans studies to investigate Black queer forms of self-representation and communal methods of political mobilization. I earned my PhD from the Department of American Studies and Ethnicity with specializations in gender studies and visual anthropology at the University of Southern California. I am also the Programs and Participants Coordinator at the Brown Boy Project. I am also currently completing my memoir entitled A Body Made Home, They Black Trans Love with the Feminist Press, and that should be out next summer. I am also a proud founding member of the Black Youth Project 100 or BYP 100, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Drummer Boy G, which I will share at the end. But for now, here is a list of our agenda today. So we're going to start with doing some introductions. We're going to do, and then we're going to do 2 short writing exercises. And so I would like us to pair up for these introductions. So we'll need breakout groups for this. And I'll put the introduction questions in the chat once you're paired off, but we'll only take about 5 minutes to do this. And I'll model. So name, my name is Marshall. Pronouns, my pronouns are he and they. From where am I arriving? Currently, I am in Washington, D.C. How am I arriving? I am a little bit tired, but I am very excited to be here with you all. And who would I like to dedicate this space to? This is something I want you all to really think about. Like, who do you want to bring with you on your journey towards more self-love? So for me today, I'm going to dedicate this space to my transcestor sibling, Kaite D. Davidson. And now let's pair up for 5 minutes and you all share your introductions, name, PGPs. I'll put it in the chat. So if we could do those breakout groups, that would be great.
Okay, welcome back, everybody.
Awesome. So everyone's back.
Oh, that was way too fast.
Yeah, sorry. We're trying to push it with the time and we started a little late. So apologies for that short intro. But we are going to keep it moving so we can really delve into the self-love portion, the radical self-love portion of this workshop. And what we're going to do is actually start with a writing prompt. And I'm going to give you all about 7 minutes, so not too much time, but it's something that you'll be able to come back to. And the prompt is, tell me about a time when you have experienced radical self-love. What was happening in your life? Who was around you? If you haven't experienced radical self-love, can you imagine what it might feel like? Please take the next 10 minutes to respond to these prompts by writing a story, poem, or drawing a picture. So we're going to have closer to 7 minutes, but yeah, you can start on that now, and I will put this prompt in the chat as well. All right, so can we put everyone in pairs? And I would love for you all to share back with each other what you reflected upon. As you share back, think about how your visions of radical self-love are similar and how they are different. Awesome, welcome back, everybody. So let's check in as a group. How was this experience? How was this exercise for you? What did you learn? And are there specific and concrete things you can commit to doing right now that will allow you to love yourself better? And feel free, anyone, to chime in.
Squirrel, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, yeah, I'm Squirrel, he, him, they, pick a pronoun. I love these types of exercises because my first reaction was, I'll bet they're gonna make us do a breakout group. And I don't know what self-love is. What the heck? That's why I came here. And because I don't know what that looks like. And the first thing my partner says was, you know what? I don't really know what this radical self-love concept is. And I'm like, oh yes, Squirrel, you are not as delicate of a unique snowflake as you think you are. We might not understand each other's direct experiences, but we do understand feelings, you know, and it's nice to be reminded of that, you know, I might not walk in someone else's shoes, but I certainly have felt happy or sad or, you know, emotions. Those don't really change. So yeah, it was just nice. And it just reminded me that this self-love thing is a journey, to use a buzzword, but yeah, it's not something that just happens.
Absolutely.
Unless I'm way off.
No, you're spot on. It's a journey and it's a practice, a literal practice. How do you practice caring for, loving for yourself every day? How do you do one thing to love yourself, one thing to make yourself feel special and deserving of being in the world today? So it is definitely a journey and it is a practice. Anyone else want to share? I really want to hear from folks. Are there specific and concrete things you can commit to doing right now that will allow you to love yourself better? Marcelo, go ahead.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm from Chile, Santiago de Chile. Very quickly, exercise. In this moment, I focusly in little tasks. For example, the order in my kitchen, wash the kitchen in general, cooking, reflect in certain point whatever was my disorder reflects in my intern in my house, for example. I'm focused on other things, but it's most concrete example.
Yeah, I hear a lot of things like exercise, your space. Your space is how you love yourself, how you care for your space. That's great. I see Alicia and Carrie.
Thank you. So the practice that I'm working on the most right now is to be very aware of the different voices inside of my head and to catch myself when the voices are not speaking kindly to myself. And then to ask myself where that voice is coming from. And is it a legitimate voice that I want to choose to listen to? Or is it a voice that no longer serves me? So I'm just trying to be very aware of the chatter in my head, and to recognize that I'm carrying voices from my past, which are inaccurate and unhelpful, and to sort of face those head on and tell them that they're wrong and ask them to politely leave.
Yeah, Alicia, thank you for that. One exercise that's good for working with that inner critic is to draw an image of that inner critic and start to build a relationship with it, and talk to it and ask it, you know, to move differently. What does it need to move differently? What does it need to change shape and shape shift. We're gonna have Carrie and then Abel, and then we're gonna move on.
Thanks. One of the things that I work on that I have to really work on is isolating. So it's about getting out there in any way I can and communing with people, because I do have that tendency to, if I want to isolate until I feel better. And that doesn't work that way. It does not, because that inner critic does get in there. This idea, I'm trying to be perfect, and then I'm going to go out when I feel better, and that does not work. So it's things like this, getting into community with others, that is so helpful.
Thank you so much for sharing, Carrie. Abel?
Lost the microphone symbol there behind something that was on my desk. I think, like, similar to Alicia, one of the things that's been really useful for me is, like, I like sort of conceptualizing it through the lens of configurations of self, that there are so many people in me at the moment, and everyone I've ever been is sort of in my brain at once. And some of them might be saying things that aren't helpful, but instead of just dismissing them, I can look at them and think, okay, I know that you're a scared little kid and this is what you had to be to survive, but we're not there anymore, and I love you and I'm keeping you, and this is what we're going to do to make you feel safe. And sort of loving myself in a radical way to me means also loving the bits that maybe I don't necessarily want to like, or that aren't particularly helpful for me right now, but they're still part of who I am, and they're parts that I've needed, and they're parts that I want to sort of respect and sort of give the same love that I give to everything else. That's me.
I love talking about that, like, child self, and how do we go back and heal that child self? How do we go back and parent that inner child? I think often we don't do this, but it's nice to actually take some intentional time to spend with that inner child and ask that inner child, what do you need to heal? What do you need to be your best? So I want us to move on to our closing activity. Here we go. Radical self-love haikus. So I want you to choose one of those concrete things that we were talking about that you can do to love yourself better. And I want you to write a haiku that will remind you why you want to engage in that self-love practice. So for me, I walk every day, and that's something that keeps me grounded and keeps me going. And so the haiku I wrote, and the way to write a haiku is the format is 575 in terms of syllables. So my haiku is, I love me harder. 5. Step by step, I walk in faith. 7. Knowing that I know. 5. I love me harder. Step by step, I walk in faith, knowing that I know. So I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes to work on your haikus. That these are going to be things that something that you come back to remind yourself of why you want to engage in that self-love practice. All right, so I'll see you all in 5 minutes. All right, if we can all come back, that would be excellent. So I'm putting in the chat a link to a page where you can find more of my work and more information about me. And that's also on this last slide, contact info for me. But let's check in. Would anyone like to share your haiku or anything from this session that particularly hit you? Or if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to chime in now. I would really love to hear some of the haikus. All right, Abby, go ahead.
Hi, so my name is Abby. I'm from Louisville, and I'm so happy to be here today. And thank you so much, Dr. Green. You have been fantastic, and I super appreciate from the panel and from this. But anyways, let me go ahead and read this. This journey I start will heal these wounds, soft and slow, willing now to grow.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that, Abby. Amanda?
Hello, thank you. My haiku: smiles at my body, joyful cacophony now. Breathe in all the love.
Yeah, that makes me want to take a deep inhale and exhale. Thank you for that, Amanda. Squirrel.
Yes, mine is I am not done yet. I am a work in progress, living my karma.
Ashe, yes, yes. That means and so it is. Thank you for sharing. Fran.
So mine is I am wholly mine. All things, though not all at once, smaller pieces build.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Fran. Gordon.
I live as I am. I challenge the outside world to live as they are.
Yes, thank you, Gordon. Jen.
Yeah, I belong to me. I can be exactly me, and I will be home.
Yes, I belong to me. You better belong to yourself. I love that. Abel.
I added mine to the thing that I drew for the first prompt, so I'll whack that in the chat. Mine was whoever I was and whoever I will be, I swear now to love.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Holly.
I wander, flowing, no destination to be. I am fully me.
Yes, you are. You are fully you. Would anyone else like to share before we close out? All right, well, I want to thank you all for being with me here today and doing this workshop on radical self-love. I hope there are some practices you can take with you. I know we only had a short amount of time, so please feel free to delve back into these exercises and feel free to hit me up on social media, email me. I would love to hear from you. And I can keep you updated on what's going on in my world. Again, it has been an honor and a pleasure to be here with you all today, and I hope you have a great, great weekend. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall.